Welcome back to the Off-Grid Homestead. Tom
and Tammy's
Off-Grid
Off-Grid Homestead.
Episode 57.
The greatest fine art of all the future will be the making of a comfortable living from a small piece of land.
Solar, water, and trenches.
Part 1.
In today's episode, we're going to start the trenching for our utilities, including our water and our solar electric to our home site. We rented a gas-powered trencher to dig the trenches. This was going to be a one-time use, so we didn't acquire a trencher. So when we start the trenching operation, we're going to go down about 3 feet. It isn't required to go down 3 feet. Our frost line here isn't that deep, but it's more for the safety of our electrical and our water, so that the lines don't get crushed if we were to drive over them. After we lay down, we're going to put down the water line first. That will go from the well all the way up to the home site, which is approximately 300 to 350 feet. You'll see in the video, some of this video footage has been sped up. The operation doesn't go that quick, and it isn't quite as jerky as it looks like in the video. But once we put down the water line, we'll put down some dirt over that, and then we'll lay in our electrical conduit. And over the top of the electrical conduit, we're going to put down a 18 or 16 gauge metal wire, maybe up to 1/8 of an inch. We'll lay that over the top and then bury it all. And the purpose of that heavy gauge wire is so that you can take a metal detector, and that will be somewhat up near the surface, so you'll be able to go through and check for location later on. So you can see this machine is self-propelled. It's run off the gas motor, but the propulsion and the trenching blade, which is a carbon steel, high carbon steel blade, is ran off of hydraulics. So the machine was in high there. And once I get this started, I'll transfer it into high. So that's approximately about the center of the home, the house build at that location. So the soil here has a high clay content and can be pretty hard. So to trench the 350 feet, it took pretty much all day. Started this early in the morning, and we were working on this till about 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. In this video, it's over several days. First day we got the trenches done. So basically you got the blade there out front, which is digging down into the ground, and as the dirt's coming up, there's an auger off to the side which basically takes that dirt and pushes it off to the right side. My first thoughts on this was I was going to be there all day. I didn't think I was going to get this done in one day. So right now we're down about, I wanted to be down 3 feet. We ended up about 30 inches, 29, 30 inches. The trenches, we're going to run our water line, as I said, down first, and that will be a 1-inch line that will connect to our well. Our well generates about 25 gallons a minute in water, so we're going to run a 1-inch line, and then over the top of that we'll run a 1.5-inch conduit to receive our power. So we'll be running down the power generated by the solar panels down to the barn site. Right now the Conex box with our inverters. So we'll be running the power down to the inverters, and then we'll be running 110 power up to the house. We're going to run 110 power up to the sawmill shop and up to the house. So here we did a 90-degree turn. The house site actually faces southeast. So if you're on the front deck of the house, you'll have a view down our valley. Another wonderful day on the homestead. So we just completed getting the trenches in for the utilities, not standard utilities. We're going to be running well water and solar power. And I'm up at the home site, and yesterday we completed the trenching, so I'm going to show you that. Here the frost line is only about a foot deep, but I went down 3 feet, so let's take a look at that. 2.5 feet. So we're down down 29, 30 inches. So we come from where the center of the cabin is going to be, the timber frame home. We come, we run all the way down. You may be wondering why we're going through all this trouble, and actually on our homestead we do not have any phone service, electrical service, or water service. A lot of trenching, siding. Cell phones don't work. Standard. So we got about 300 feet internet trenches or satellite service get off doesn't work. You can't do a standard. You can't get direct TV. Get out of there. Where we're at. Like any kid. So the trenches, I got So
I
through a
tee
little
off.
trial and error, we were lucky. We were able to
So we come
get
along where the
Starlink,
house is, come back
and our
down.
phone service
We tee that
actually
way,
runs
and then
through
we
the
come down.
Starlink. Poseidon. He's always on the job making sure we're doing it right.
Down. We tee over to the saw shop, and it goes down. Behind where the barn shop is, and it goes all the way down. Over to the well.
So this is actually day 2.
Oh, what is that? Stuffing? Better, the amount of breed out here. Keep it better to keep it productive. My wire is such up here, right? Watch him, he gets right
Poseidon's
on
like
there.
a little
No?
kid.
He gets right on there,
Kid in
pushes
our
it in.
pee on the piles.
Yeah.
He means well.
Come on.
He's a big baby with big feelings. He keeps, he can't stay out of there. He's not. He's got his internal clock though. Every night, he knows what time it is to go to bed. He likes to sleep in the morning. He thinks his job is to take care of the animals and herd the animals. So there I was using a post hole digger. So anywhere I teed off, I had to run the trencher across the trenches, which filled the trench in with some dirt. Here you can see we're using the poly water line. So I ran about 350 feet. There's Brandy. Some of the trenching, I actually had to come back later and finish by hand. Duchess. I believe that chicken's name is River. So connecting this pipe together, I have couplers, and I got 4 so that crimp clamps. So I put 2 on each pipe, 2 clamps on each pipe, And then there's a crimping tool. So doubling up on the crimps that's left over from my sailing days. Anything that could possibly leak, we always put 2 clamps on in opposing directions. These fittings are really tight. There's Poe. He's coming up on 6 months in Boston Terrier. There's Brandy. Fittings are tight. Later I switch over to a dead blow mallet. Mallets filled with like shot or sand, plastic. I'm looking for the crimping tool, which just so happens to be, you can see it in the video, I put the crimping tool away so that it would be handily available and I wouldn't lose it.
Is that for water?
Yeah, I'm spending several minutes here looking for it. And it's not in the bucket. There's a mallet. I'm going back to where I was, see if I can find the tool. Looking at it, I look like an idiot. There it is. It would be nice if this tool was like a compound lever action, but it wasn't. They make them. So I'm tightening the one down. And there's the second one. So on at each junction there's 4 of those clamps. You can see the animals are pretty docile. Duchess there. Very, very, very curious. Nigerian goats. Looking forward to the milk. Tammy believes they may be pregnant, so we may be having some babies fairly soon.
What are you doing over there? Eating something. Let me see what you got in your mouth. What's that?
Tammy's working on the birds today. Brandy. Brandy's black with the tan, and Duchess is cream and brown. I don't know where the males are. Elvis and Oreo. Earlier in the season, we thought having the two males was going to be a major issue, but now that the girls aren't in heat, everybody's calmed down. The males will actually get bloody. They butt their heads. Everybody's okay. Yeah, that's Elvis right there. Elvis is on the right by the tire. See, you see the longer horns. There's Oreo, black and white. Here's Duchess. Duchess is all the way to the right. Barely see her head. There she is. Barely see her head. There you can see the 4 fittings that crimp the pipes together. And here you go, you got kids being kids.
Kids at play.
Poe keeps
This way. Popo, come get water.
Poe keeps Poseidon busy. Now I'm down by the shipping containers, or where the barn is going to be. Once we're done, there will be a barn. So we have 2 of these shipping containers. One's blue, one's orange. The orange one actually has our electrical power in it. The interior is insulated. They're watertight, fireproof. You see how hard it is to get these fittings together. It's pretty snug. You could, I suppose, heat up the poly piping and it would slide together easier. But I didn't have something at the time that was convenient to do that with. In the end, it's probably better that they're snug. They're more than snug. So each day now we run the generator for about 2 hours. It's a 9,500 watt generator. 5 gallons will last us 3 days of fuel. So it's imperative that we get these utilities and the power and everything in these trenches, and we get the solar array completed. There'll be future episodes on the wiring, the completion of the wiring, and the completion of the solar array. earlier, we had episodes of where we set the verticals for the solar array. The ground was a little wet at that time, and it was pretty slick on that hill. So we have some welding to do. We have quite a bit of work to do there. Trying to get these fittings together. First instinct is to get it on there, and good enough's good enough. But I'm insisting that it's seated all the way, not most of the way. And you can see one of the chickens there behind the tree right now. There it is. That's actually the rooster. Again, the 4 clamps, clamping it together. But the rooster, we had 2 roosters, but that wasn't working out. They were fighting, and it wasn't working out. So one of the roosters went to one of Tammy's friends, and we kept one. Now he's the king of the roost. He guards his flock pretty well, and he lets us know when anything is around that isn't normal. He crows. He even crows when we come around. But they're all free range. Tammy lets them out every morning. The goats, the chickens, the ducks, and in future that we got a surprise that we'll be doing an episode on. It's pretty neat, pretty neat. Yep, it's another 100 feet. So here I don't use all of this. I connected 400 feet of tubing. I used 320 to 350 feet of it. This last section runs up to where the well is. Oh. Make sure, if you like this, make sure you hit the like, subscribe. We'd appreciate it. God bless.